Well, I made it. Good morning. Welcome to the live stream. We are now streaming on Facebook and we are on YouTube officially right now. So, welcome to the live stream. How are you doing? I'm Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover talent and voiceover coach. And today, I've got something very interesting to talk about. It came about yesterday during our discussion. Somebody asked the question about that related to clients who are paying lower than maybe what the average going rate would be. And what the going rate can be a hard question to answer, but let's just make this, we'll speak in broad strokes, very broad generalization. And that is, what is the difference between working with a high pay versus a low pay client? Where you've got one client, maybe this is a $500 job for whatever this job happens to be. But there you're working with maybe a smaller client someplace who's only willing to pay $50 for basically the same job. Now, the numbers might be different, but I'm, again, speaking in broad, general, strokes here regarding the differences. And there is a difference between the higher paying versus the lower paying clients. And thanks, guys. Man, you are checking in and let me know what's up. Let me know who you are, where you're at. I'm so grateful you're on this morning. And by the way, before we get to the meat of the content today, let me encourage you, if you would, to make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That way you'll get notifications when I go live or whenever fresh content is released. And I would love to have you give the video a thumbs up if you like it and share it with your friends, because the purpose of this is just to help you and everybody else in voiceover be more profitable and, to allow people to make this ideally their life career, if that's what they choose, or a really nice, lucrative side hustle, if not a full-time job. All right, so the topic, low pay versus high pay clients. And there is a distinct difference. Generally speaking, there are exceptions to every rule, but what I have found, and it's funny because when you first get into this, intuition, common sense, right, would tell you, well, high-pay clients are going to be much more demanding than low-pay clients. Low-pay clients are probably just going to be easy. Rip and read. They're going to give you a few bucks and you just rip it, read it, and give it back to them. And sometimes that is the case. And certainly there can be higher-pay clients who are a little more difficult to deal with, although that really hasn't been my experience. But there are some fundamental differences. And the primary difference is in how easy they are to work with. And in my experience, and it's funny because Mallory and I, my daughter, who, she's very successful as a voice actor herself, we have this conversation all the time. And that is just, it's amazing. We continue to be amazed at how difficult some people can be over a few bucks. And I think the big difference is the higher paid jobs are done much more thoughtfully. They're thought out well. They're written well. Somebody who could actually write well was probably paid a decent wage to write the script and to do it well. It's been proofed. It's been double checked. It's been timed out to make sure that it works. The person who's casting the job, you've auditioned most likely for this job. And they've chosen you because they like you, and they like the way you sound, the way you communicate, and believe that you're going to be a good fit for their project. So they have done all of their work, their due diligence on the front end. They've done everything that they need to do on the front end, and they've left very little to be concerned about. Doesn't mean there won't be changes during a recording session where you've got 2 or 3 clients on the line and they may haggle over a word or two that needs to be changed. And when I say haggle, oftentimes there'll be discussions, say, well, should it say this or should it say that? Well, I think this. Well, I'm not so sure. You may have that kind of thing going on. But generally those things are just, they're minute. It's not a big deal. It's not anything that you have to worry about. They have to worry about it. They figure it out. Whereas oftentimes a low pay client has given the project very little thought. They've just whipped something together. They have not checked the grammar. They have not checked to make sure the details are right. They have not provided a pronunciation guide for you. It's been done in a big hurry. and they haven't timed it out to make sure that if it's a commercial, that it times out properly, or, it doesn't have to be a commercial, but whatever it is, just it doesn't time out properly. And they're just trying to find the person who will do it the quickest at the lowest price. And invariably, it is amazing to me that whenever, if you take on a client like that, almost every time they're going to come back with changes. And then they want to come back with another change and another change and another change. I'm sure it's a principle, and there's a law that they've called it, the law of the low pay client. I don't know. That's what we'll call it, I guess, for the sake of this video. But it is a principle, and it is a law, and it works that way more times than it doesn't. Does it mean you shouldn't do or take on low pay clients? No, not necessarily. Here's the catch. When you're first getting started, you really can't have an expectation that you're going to go out and get the same jobs at the same rate that those who are far more experienced and far more developed in their skill set are getting. It's just not the way life works in any kind of career or job. So chances are you're going to start off at the lower end of the spectrum of pay, and you're going to have to work your way there. And even, later on, you're going to find, occasionally I'll take on a client who can't pay what my standard rate would be, and I'll think, I've got a few extra minutes, I'll knock this out for them. And then I'm almost always reminded there is no knocking out a project for a low pay client, because they're going to come back, and usually come back multiple times. So I've almost been made to regret that whenever I have. But when you're first starting, that's the way you make your money. You work your way through that, and yeah, on freelance platforms, and Fiverr is going to be a good example. There's a lot of that. And that's one of the challenges of a growing platform. And that's one of the challenges that Fiverr has. And while Fiverr is a great platform, I believe in it. And, my daughter, Mallory, makes a lot of money on Fiverr. And my average job on Fiverr is actually higher pay than my average job elsewhere. But it's because I charge a lot more, and I miss a lot of work that other people would take on. So I'm not looking for volume on Fiverr. I'm not looking to do a lot of work at a low rate just because of the workload that I already have. So the challenge Fiverr has, and they know this and they're working on it, is that they're cultivating higher pay clients. And that's one of the reasons I really like Fiverr. It's because it's not just a slap together platform by people who don't know what they're doing. It's a business. It's a publicly owned business. It's well funded. It's overseen by very talented and experienced business people, savvy business people, and they understand the need to have good clients, and they're cultivating. It's taking time, but the more time goes on, the more of the higher pay clients that they're getting, and that's one of the reasons I'm so adamant about Voice Talent being on the platform now and getting established now. And yeah, you're going to have to sift through the riffraff, so to speak, but there are some gems out there. This video is not about Fiverr specifically, but that's just to give you an example. So just to understand, when you're taking and here's another rule of thumb. If there's a client who's just in a huge rush and they just don't care, and they've sent you this awful script that's written really bad, it's written badly. It's just bad grammar. It's not timed out properly, and all they want you to do is record it fast. Well, that means you're probably in for a real hassle, because it's never as easy as just recording it real fast and then getting paid. It's always a back and forth. Here's one that Mallory and I talk about a lot. They'll come back and say, "Oh, I don't like it. Doesn't sound good." Say, well, wait a minute. Did you not listen to my demos before you hired me for this? And so that's another thing. They will nitpick and they will criticize in a way that a client. I was talking about yesterday, doing the Chevrolet Find New Roads campaign, which was it was a global campaign. It was all for out of U.S. and it paid $30,000 for 4 words, which was really nice. They took the audition, didn't offer any critique, any feedback whatsoever. Took it, paid me. Man, if you're doing a low pay job, they'll oftentimes tell you they don't like the way you read it, how you sounded funny on this word, it gets to the point where it's comical. It's just funny. If it wasn't so frustrating, it would be really, really funny. But that in business, you deal with that. And when you're growing and those are the clients you have to take on, then it is. And you work through it and you work your way to better pay clients. But that's the difficulty. That's the challenge with low pay clients. So hope that helps you. I don't mean that to be discouraging. I hope you know me well enough that my purpose is, again, to empower you to be as profitable as you possibly can. And that means you need to know the truth about how things operate within a business environment. And VoiceOver is not so different from, the product may be different. We're not selling widgets, but we're certainly selling VoiceOver services. But the psychology and the personality of the people we deal with, people are people. So you get the same problems wherever you go, the same challenges. But it's nothing you can't handle, nothing that you can't deal with. Just understand that's the way of the world. That is the way that it works. All right, let's, wow, lots of folks on this morning. Let's see here. Sandy, what's up? Hey, Bruce, good morning. And Kevin in New Jersey, Steve, always good to see you. Saskatchewan in the house this morning. Hey, Matt in Orlando, what's up? Hey, Adrian. Yay, yes, indeed. So glad you could catch the live stream today. Good morning, Guy. Lemuel, what's up? Renee, good morning. Bruce, love the Chevrolet tagline. Please say it again. One more time. Chevrolet, find new roads. That's it. It's amazing how easy that was. I'm not saying they're all easy, but I think you get the point. Let's see here. Sean in Wolverine Land. Michigan, yes, the great state of Michigan. Hey, Jacob in Tennessee, what's up? Jim in Chicago. Hey, Randy, how are you doing? Ozzy. No, I'm sorry. It's Katie. Katie in Texas. Jacob says, excuse me, so sorry. He received and completed his first $100 order this week. That's Jacob, that feels good. That awesome. Good for you. Congratulations. There you go. And nothing like, doing a job, and that just builds the confidence. And it's funny how when we accomplish something, how it builds our confidence and it makes us better at what we do. It just becomes an upward cycle. So you keep doing what you're doing. Hey, Rafiq, how you doing? Benton, Southern California. All right, the Philippines. Good morning. Hey, Keith, how are you doing? Mauricio, Herb in Miami. Oh, hey, Paul. Paul's in the UK. Good to have you here this morning, this afternoon for you, obviously. Hey, Zakaria in Algeria. Awesome. Made the first step and published his first gig on Fiverr 2 weeks ago. How long does it usually take to get to the first order on average? I don't know that there isn't. I couldn't tell you the average. I don't know. But I can tell you this, Zach. It does take usually longer than a couple of weeks, and it can take a few months for things to get traction. And that's one of the reasons people give up on Fiverr and get frustrated, call it a scam, say it doesn't work. And that's not true. It does take a while. Even if, and you've got, if you haven't checked out Mallory's course, I would really recommend it. It is Mallory Fiverr Training, Mallory, Mallory, MalloryFiverrTraining.com, because there are some certain elements that need to be done in a certain way and correctly for you just to be able to be acknowledged by the algorithm. So it can, even in a best case scenario, it can take a month or two or so. So just be patient, hang in there. Let's see, Harrison in Alabama. Hey there. Magnetawan, Ken, good morning. Robert, Springfield in the great state of Ohio. I've played golf in Springfield before. Hey, Mario in Brazil. Algeria in the house. Okay. And greetings from Long Island, New York. All right, guys. Hey, thanks again for being here. I don't have time to go through more comments or questions right now, but I will tell you this. Tomorrow morning, which will be Friday, I will do what I always do on Friday, and that is I'll have my Friday morning live voiceover Q&A. So bring your comments, your questions, and I'll try to get to as many of those as I can tomorrow morning, and we'll be looking forward to it. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for checking the live